All right, YouTube. Today's video, we're going to talk about VW. I got this vehicle and I'm kind of like, I would say rebuilding it or something. So I'm putting a brand new fuel injector. These are my old fuel injector here. But also the vehicle was leaking oil. So I removed the oil pan and there's no gasket for this specific vehicle. I even called the dealership. My engine code is BPY. So dealership don't have a gasket for that. AutoZone, nobody have it. So all you have to do is use one of these. Okay, you have to use one of these to make a gasket, right? Okay, that's not a problem. I can make a gasket. After making the gasket and everything, I put the oil pan back on. But also the filter housing is leaking oil, right? Filter housing, after a while, there's a gasket between the housing and the engine block. They go bad, so you have to remove it and replace that, which is not a problem. I could do all of that. Okay, so this is the oil cooler. The oil cooler, this section here is connecting to the antifreeze that run into this unit and cool down the oil. All right, so the antifreeze in your vehicle is very important. So in order to remove this, you first have to drain your antifreeze. You guys can see my antifreeze cooling bottle right there is empty. So like I said, all of that is not an issue. All right, but to get to the filter housing, guys, you have to remove your intake manifold. You have to remove the intake manifold. Okay, you guys can see I removed the intake manifold and I disconnect all these things right here connecting to the fuel injector. One of those wire here wasn't doing well. The connector was broken by the previous owner, so I went ahead and cut it. I will go down AutoZone and get a heat resistible wire to kind of extend this to either maybe replace the connector. Like I said, this is not an issue. I don't have issue with electrical issue. I'm pretty good at electrical stuff, right? But my problem here is that this vehicle, and also one of the reasons of this video is to warn you guys who are beginner DIY. If you want to do a DIY on this vehicle, I would strongly recommend you limit to oil change and maybe initial coil, which is easy, right, to do that. Okay, but other than, I want to remove my oil filter housing, guys, you don't want to do that because you might have to remove the intake manifold. It's a pain in the butt to get it out. You guys can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and there's one also connecting to this section. This section is connecting to the engine block. Tell me how you're going to even get this thing here first. It's really tough to get this thing out. Okay, so the only way you can get this thing out, unless if you go down there and remove the holes that are connecting to the throttle body, which is this guy right here. I removed that. And this section, there's a sensor right there. I think it's the airflow sensor. I will take it out and kind of clean it before, putting it back together, right? So you have to remove this, in order to maybe remove this board that connecting to the intake manifold, right? So here is my intake manifold right there. So this is my throttle body, and this is the board I'm talking about. I need 13 millimeter to take that out. Okay, all right. But one of the biggest issue about this vehicle, which is every German vehicle I want to warn you guys about, is the fact that, and I find the engineer very stupid to me. I would say very stupid. Okay, this is a T30. I don't mind. I could go buy the T30 to come and do what I want to do, right? Which is not a problem. But just to remove the filter housing, you need T30 and T40. Why having T30 and T40? Which is stupid. If you want to put T40, just go ahead and knock it out to T40, so I don't have to keep changing tools and stuff like that, right? It's really not a problem. But my bigger issue, what I want to explain to you guys, is that Okay, these things right here, they are pretty easy to strip. Like when you put stuff in it and they can mess up, and then it gets stuck in there because now the hole get bigger, or it's no longer gripping or holding to the tool, so it turned out to be round or something, just in case someone ahead of you try to do something on the vehicle, whatever, and you use the same thing over and over, right? So these things, once in a while, you want to have a set of them and keep it on you. Sometimes just change them if they're going bad, because if you're done, if they sit there for a long time, it could be a big problem. So my problem is, why is it, if they're going to have people use T30 to remove this bolt, right? What about the outside section? A good engineer would turn this into either 10 millimeter. So give you two options. Just in case this is bad, you can use a 10 millimeter to remove that out. And I like that about what it did on the oil pan. On the oil pan, let me show you guys. You guys see here on the oil pan. On the oil pan, if your T30, which is T30, if it's not working, you can grab a 10 millimeter to remove that from your oil pan. I removed this oil pan and I put a new, gasket and everything. So now I'm trying to get the filter housing out of the way. Okay? Beside the oil pan, everything else is like this, round. The only option you have is the T30 or T40. I think that's really dumb to me. So if they want to be completely separate from every other manufacturer out there, they need to be like, they need to do something really nice that people will really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, just look on top of this valve cover, for example. You need T30 to remove that. But what if your T30 is no longer working? You guys can see that the hole is almost gone, right? All right? So my only option I have here is to use T30. Why not make it as 10 millimeter or whatever size, including the T30? Give people more options and stuff like that. So my advice to you guys, if you're brand new into DIY, stay away from this vehicle. If you want to start your DIY channel or just normal DIY stuff, do stuff on your own, I would suggest you go with, a little Toyota Corolla, Honda Accord. These vehicles are super easy to work on, okay? All these tools that I have in my garage, everything you see out here, I use them to work on my Honda Accord. But VW and BMW, or whatever W you want to call them, they are the only vehicle that require this weird type of tool. Okay, this one here, you need this set of tool to change your brake pad on the BMW. I changed the brake pad on my friend BMW before, so I had to use this one right here. So I'm going to keep it. I'm pretty sure I'm going to need the same thing for my brake pads on this vehicle. So, but yeah, that's just how dumb they build this vehicle. Good vehicle, really nice looking. When you see it driving, it drives pretty good. The engine is very nice and everything, but everything else today was dumb. Okay, I don't know. I think this right here, you use a 10 millimeter to take it out, including the T30. Go ahead and make every other bolt just like that, guys. Just like that. Why just T30? This thing can go bad at any time. And then you're stuck. All right? So that's it. That's all I wanted to share with you guys. I was trying to recommend that you guys never mess with this stuff. This vehicle, if you have one of these and you don't know much about it, just give it to somebody that know how to work on it so they can work on it. You don't want to mess with it. All right? Because especially if you have to remove the intake manifold, guys, that's a whole lot of job. If you're not good at connection, okay, Oh, I did something like this, and I put another one on the intake manifold, the connector on the intake manifold, so I don't mess it up. But honestly, it's not necessary because each one of these connector are different pin. This one here is 6, this one here is 2, and you know, they all are different. So, you know, that's one of the interesting things that actually gave me that confidence to just go ahead and disconnect everything except the fuel injector connector. There are 2 pin, and this one is 3 because it's connecting right there to the engine block, right? But I'm gonna go ahead and get like a heat resistible wire from AutoZone and extend this. You know, I had to cut it out because the connector was bad, and I will fix that later. But yeah, other than that, guys, seriously, do not try to do anything on this vehicle if you don't know much about DIY. You know, I removed my high pressure fuel pump because I changed my follower, but you know, it's in there. I'm just gonna wait. Once I'm done, put the whole new fuel injector and everything, go ahead and put the how you call the intake manifold back. But first off, I have to get this bad boy out of the way and, you know, either replace the gasket or put the new one. You know what I'm saying? Just wanted to tell you guys how this right here is not. I'm not a big fan of this stuff. Okay, so if you have your engine block open like that, be careful so you don't throw anything like this in it, right? Other than that, what I would do is I have a aluminum tip over here. I'm gonna just put it here to just cover this, just like that, so something don't fall in there for now while I'm working here. Because if you have a piece of metal go in there, that would be bad. But I will catch you guys in the next video, man. Thanks for watching.